Gratefulness practice sounds like something middle-aged white women do. Women who wear beige.
Today on Honestly, Dear Listener, we're talking about gratefulness. And before you click away, hear us out. If you've been feeling a little on the weird side, stay tuned.
We're two childhood best friends talking about creative mindset.
I'm Emily Hatch.
And I'm Carrie Schaefer, and this is Honestly, Dear Listener.
Honestly, dear listener.
Woo! Heidi ho.
Hey, today's a good day to talk about some gratefulness.
Oh man, right? Okay, so we just moved. We're still in Nashville, but we just moved and we had fiber before, which if you don't know, fiber's like blow your hair back
Fiber
fast.
internet.
Fiber
Yeah.
internet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. Fiber internet, which is super fast. And now we don't have that at this new location. And so I just spent the last, 30 minutes arguing with the internet. And yeah. So we're going to see how this all goes down.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Also, fiber is fast, depending. Like Metamucil, if you're really kind of stopped up, it can really be kind of fast as well. Yeah, gets right
I
to
remember
that shit.
drinking that as a kid, and I used to like get really grossed out because Metamucil, like the original kind, would get all like gel like at the bottom of the cup. And
Mm.
I don't know what happened, but one day I started loving it. So I love Metamucil.
Did you ever have the wafers?
No, 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 no. I think
I
that did that come later?
I don't know, but I had the wafers more often than the drink.
Okay.
They were like just little bran crackers, and yeah, well, that'll get things moving. I struggled with constipation as a child,
So
so.
did I. I had IBS, so it was like all over the place. Man, are we some uptight, stopped up
Poor little kids.
bitches?
Yeah,
Yes.
honestly, like thinking back, I mean, we found out it was a dairy sensitivity, which is real, but also probably an IBS type situation. It's almost as though we were stressed about our eternity and the eternity of those around us
You know, it always
constantly.
comes back to that. It always like here I am this morning, I'm sitting down doing my morning pages, and it almost always comes back around to this comes back to how I was raised in a fundamentalist church. It
Hmm.
always does, Emily.
It's almost like that inner child stuff is like real, and that's why they talk about it. Like our upbringing matters.
Yeah,
Our poor
yeah.
parents. I've thought
Oh,
about
I
this a
know.
lot lately. Like just getting blamed for everything. And I'm over here getting blamed for everything by my kid. It's the circle of blame, you know? Like this is so
Oh,
good.
no. Is this what I have to look forward to as a parent? Are my kids
Yes.
just too young?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean
gosh.
think about it. Think about when you were a kid and you were just like, "My mom's weird today. I don't know." And then now you're like, "Oh shit. My parents and the choices they made and the things they said to me really fucked me up. You
Totally.
guys, come on." Like that's yeah. I mean, I feel like from 17 to like 23, 24, my mom I was just like, "Ugh." Um and then I started to be like, "All right, maybe you're not so bad." But I still am like, "It's your fault." Like you didn't
Mhm.
mean to, but it's your fault. And now my kid is doing that to me. So
Yay.
pretty cool. We're at 19 right now, so I've still got like another 4 years of mild hatred. So,
Shoot.
but love also.
Well, yeah, but I
Yeah.
think don't you think it's them trying to be different from you? Like, it's the normal process of separating from your parents so then you can grow up.
Yep. Yep. I think it's necessary because if I mean, I've thought about this before. It's still really hard, but I've thought about this before that
Mhm.
what if they didn't want to leave? Oh,
Mhm.
that's worse. I mean, or
Yeah.
what if they're really super dependent on everything about me? But here's this really weird thing. So I'm writing a show about mom stuff and the strange thing though is we're supposed to be, if we're a good mom in heavy duty air quotes, we know what our kids doing, we know where they are, we are like on top of their shit, we are involved in everything, we're the like the joy and all the things that we bring to their lives. And then once they graduate high school or leave the house or go to college, whatever you guys decide is right, um, it's supposed to be like, okay, you're done now. And then
Right.
if you don't stop being the everything person, then you're a bad mom for not immediately realizing that you're done doing that. And now it's time to just support your kid and enjoy the fruits or not of your labor. There's that fruits thing again. But uh but like I was thinking about how kind of terrible that is when I was taking a walk a couple days ago, and I'm like, oh, so we're just supposed to be like really good parents and like really super attentive and then be like, okay, fuck off gently, like,
In
and
a nice
just
way, though.
yeah, like I've never actually thought I would have empty nest issues because I've been a parent. Like I got pregnant at 19. So I thought I'd be like, okay, peace. Like I have done my best to make you an independent human. I love you. You can call me. Bye. I really thought that that would be the vibe, but it was hard to like get out of the mode of, okay, are you eating? Are you like, who are you spending time with? What are you doing? Can I
Mhm.
help you? Can I teach you something? And just suddenly be like, nope, you're done. And you're like, because
Man,
now you're a dick mom if you are like, who are you hanging out with? Are you eating food? Like, leave me alone.
right.
What?
Ugh.
It's so weird, dude. Okay.
Woo!
Woo.
Like you, I mean, when I say fundamentalism, I don't necessarily mean my parents. They're just a product of that. They're
Mm.
just part of that system. They did and continue to do the best they can. It's just now we get to deconstruct from all of that training for the rest of our
Mm-hmm.
lives. I really
Mm-hmm.
do think like I'm going to be like 60 and be like, "Oh, it's because of that I keep acting like this."
I feel that
So,
so hard. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go directly to the parents, but it
oh
does
no.
feel like that sometimes where you're like, you
Mhm.
guys picked this and now I'm all fucked up
Yep.
because you picked that. And I picked something else and I'm fucked up from, I fucked up my kid from that. It's generational. It's
Yep.
just what you're going to do.
Today, we are talking about one of my very favorite subjects and something that I think is so important to creating and supporting other people in their creating. And that is drumroll, dee. Yours is way better than mine.
Deedly dee dee.
Gratefulness.
That's good.
Deedly
Grateful.
deedly dee. Like not a drummer.
Oh, I liked it. So gratefulness.
Yeah.
Gratefulness.
Gratefulness, which if you would have asked me about like, I don't know, like 10 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah, it's important. But I didn't realize how important it really is daily and for mental health until I started my gratefulness practice, like 7 years ago or whatever it is now. What is your history with gratefulness?
I think if you go back even 5 years, I'd be like, gratefulness practice? Ew,
Mm-hmm.
that's dumb.
'Cause it sounds really like Pollyanna, which, by the way, I love that movie. So
I love
I
that
don't know
movie
why I
too.
keep saying but, like,
Like
it
it's
sounds
bad.
like toxic positivity is what it sounds like to me,
Mhm,
like or
mhm,
what it used to sound like to me.
mhm. Yeah, I think just like cheesy. I've been with as bright and shiny as I can be. I'm also a big cynic and I'm like, what do all these idiots have to tell themselves to make themselves happy? And now I'm like one of the idiots that's like, tell me what I can do. So I have
Yep, I get
and
it.
by that I mean like I feel better because I
Mhm.
started thinking about this stuff. So, yeah, 5 years ago, I'd be like, "Oh." That's funny for you to have to think about that, and now I'm, like, writing them down every day.
Yep.
So I took a business coaching class, I think I've talked about before, with Whitney, who she owns The Singing Straw, and she owns Songbird Studios, voice teaching company in San Francisco. We did a business coaching class, me, and my multiple people in my brain,
Love
and,
it.
she talked about kind of an outline for a morning, basically like concentration of things. And it has changed a lot of things for me. And one of those things is gratefulness. Just three things every morning that I'm grateful for. And yeah, what does yours look like?
We really do become what we think about.
Mm,
And I used to think, I could think about anything and it wouldn't affect anything out here. But it absolutely does. Like you manifest the things that you think about, and those become real out here with other
mm,
people. And so if my thoughts and what I think about make a difference out here, what if I started thinking about all the things in my life that are awesome?
mm,
And not even just the big things, like tiny, teeny, tiny little things. Like, my gosh, I'm so glad I have that pinky because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to do X, Y, and Z. Or like, isn't it great that we have eyelashes because if we didn't, then crap would get in our eyes. Like the smallest thing to like, I'm so grateful for my vacuum cleaner. What if I didn't have it? Like I would
mm.
feel the prick of wanting that thing. And so the more you think about the things that you're grateful for, the more happiness and contentment infuses your brain, and then you're grateful for even more things. Like you see
Mm.
things out in the world to be grateful for. You're looking for things. You're priming your brain to be like, I want to look for things that I'm grateful for instead of looking for the things that are not ideal. Because that's super easy. That is easy to find things that are wrong.
We've talked just in previous episodes about the fact that it is like a biological reaction to look for bad,
Mm-hmm.
because it's kept us safe. So, like, it's normal for our brain to go, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" Not "What's good? What's good?" So, sorry. Go
Right.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically that's it, is that I have ever since then, now that I understand how important what we think is to our overall well-being, I have tried to have a daily gratefulness practice. It's so human nature. And, they talk about this scientifically too. Like we habituate to things, meaning that human biology wants to be at stasis. It's good. It helps us move forward in our life and it helps us be okay. If you have two people and one person wins the lottery and the other person gets in this terrible car accident and is a quadriplegic, and then in a year they test their happiness levels, they will be at the same in a year
Wow.
because our systems want to habituate. They want to come back to stasis, normal, equilibrium. And
Ugh.
so I know, and that's great in terms of like it's really good to know if something terrible happened to me in a year, I would come back to equilibrium. It's
Mm.
also really frustrating because I want everything to be new and exciting and fresh and like, yes, but like my system is bringing me back to normal, quote unquote normal.
Dang.
Yeah. And so by having a gratefulness practice, we are able to actually make things new all the time. So we're
Mm.
bringing up that level, that happiness, contentment level every time we think about things that we're grateful for.
So is it that like you can change your stasis of like, or your threshold in a way of like what's normal to feel? I love audiobooks, and I was listening to The Big Leap, and I've talked about it before. And he talks about kind of that we have like a limit, an upper limit
Mhm.
of how much happiness, how much love, how much success we allow ourselves to feel, basically. And that it kind of, we just bump into it. And I almost wonder if that is similar to stasis.
Mhm.
Also, like, I've listened to the book Rich as Fuck, and a similar thing with like how much money you allow yourself to have. Like, we have a threshold, and it's like, I will get myself to whatever comfort level I have. So, our gratefulness practice and like changing the state of joy, like
Mhm.
maybe we've been hitting that stasis or that limit of how much joy we are normally going to feel, right?
Right.
And allowing yourself to be grateful and come back to that place might raise our threshold of joy, maybe our stasis.
Science would absolutely say yes. You can raise your stasis or your threshold and your capacity for feeling joy
Mhm.
through a gratefulness practice, which is why it's so important. It's not just like this like, "Oh, this is really great, make me." No, it's like you're actually changing structures in your brain by doing this practice
Wow.
for the better.
That's so exciting. It's not
Yeah.
just like I've always thought of it as, but like I said, like 5 years ago, I'm like white ladies who wear cream every day, um, do a gratefulness practice. But it's
Right.
anyway.
No, totally. No, I mean, like I said, it sounded so foofy and woo-woo and like, okay, come on. Like you can do that over there, but like all of us grounded people are going to be realists about the world and that
Mhm.
is like not like give me where rubber meets the road. Until I
Totally.
figured out that this rubber absolutely meets the road.
Woo!
Woo!
Let's talk real life. I've been feeling this hard that like things become normal to me. Like last year, I had a really novel year. It was like a
Mhm.
bunch of really cool things happened. And then it started to just become very normal that I would be doing weird, cool things. And I could
Mhm.
sense the like happiness within the things sort of going down, and I would try to pull it back up, you know. When I sit with my little pad of paper in the morning, I love a pad of paper and a pen. I
Oh,
don't love
nothing
typing.
better.
And I write my little grateful things. I make a little, so I write at the top of my page, I can make magic out of anything. And then I do a little star for my little grateful things because it makes me happy. Okay. Some days I sit with my gratefulness star and it takes me a while to think of anything. And how fucked up and privileged is that? Ugh, I don't feel very grateful.
Mhm.
Like, it'll take
Yeah.
me a while. Do you ever have days like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's like running. I don't wanna run. Well, that's a bad example because I don't run. Good. All right,
Let's think of
let's
something else.
let's think of something I do. Um,
What does it you do?
I do walks. So I yes. So, it's a very rare day that I actually want to get out and walk. But I know that if I do, at some point in the walk, I'll be like, "Huh, I kinda like this. Okay." And then after that walk, I'm like, "What are we doing? Da 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 da. Let's pull out our to-do list. I can do all these things." Like I feel so empowered
Mm,
after I do that walk. But almost never want to do it beforehand. And I think gratefulness is a lot like that. It's like you probably won't feel grateful until you sit and marinate in those ideas
mhm,
and
mhm.
let them really sink into your skin and your bones and your brain.
So it's like, okay, then. If you don't necessarily have, when I think of gratefulness, I think of all these things in my life. Like,
Mhm.
it's okay. You don't have to feel bad, Emily, or any of you out there. If it's hard for us sometimes when we're having a tough time, we're really stressed out to think
Mm.
about what we're grateful for. And for me, some days, like today, I said I'm grateful for hope.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Ooh,
because
I
I
just
was
got
just
chills.
like, I haven't been having the best couple of days, and I'm like,
Mm.
I'm just grateful that I can hope for something, a
Yep.
better day. Like, sometimes that's all we have, right? Or
Oh,
like, I'm really grateful for my coffee or whatever, you know? It's like, it can just be, I'm grateful that I feel these things, or, like, it doesn't have to be like, I love everything about my life, right?
it could be down to the smallest, seemingly the most dumbest things. You could be, I'm grateful for the fact that I have boogers because they serve a purpose in my body.
Your
I'm grateful.
filtration system.
Yeah, I'm grateful for trash cans. It like takes it up a notch when I think we're grateful for
Mm,
things that are seemingly just so ordinary and mundane,
mm.
you know?
It's
And
like
I
the
don't
internet. Like, you don't realize how much you need
ding
it
ding
till you
ding.
don't have it so much.
That that is right. I don't think anyone should feel bad for not feeling grateful. It feels kind of counter human almost in a
Mm,
good way.
mhm,
Go with me here. It
mhm.
feels counter normal, on autopilot human to be grateful. We naturally habituate to things. We naturally get used to things. It's one of the great things of being human. Having
Mhm.
children would suck because we would just never get used to having those people in our house.
Yeah.
And so habituation and getting used to things is a great thing until it's not, until we no longer are grateful for things that we're used to. So don't ever feel bad if you're like, ugh, gratefulness doesn't feel natural. I don't think it's supposed to feel natural.
This is exciting to me because, we've talked about kind of getting things that we had been working for and then feeling that kind of sense of letdown and like,
Mhm.
this is it. This is all it feels like. And I think a practice like this could get us into a place where we could recognize that we got to that place and be grateful for that and
Mm.
like raise that level of joy, you know? So this is cool.
Totally. No, we are responsible for our own happiness.
Mhm.
Like I think we go out and we expect all of these things out here to make us happy or content or whatever it is. And I
Mhm.
think that the onus of happiness and contentment is squarely on our own shoulders.
Totally. Yeah. Oh boy. There's another thing to do. Just kidding.
I mean, arguably it is the thing.
It
You know,
literally is.
that and figuring out how to love ourselves is like I guess, I mean, I don't know for sure, but like that's kind of why we're here. Like
Mm.
that's it.
Mhm. Well,
So,
dang. Woo.
woo. Okay, so there's the song by Mitski called My Love, Mine All Mine. And it's the one that goes, 'cause my love is mine, all mine. It's all over social media. And I love that song. Kelly Clarkson did a cover of that song on her show for Kellyoke, if you're familiar with
Mhm.
the Kelly Clarkson
Mhm.
show. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I was in my bed doing what we all often do, and that is hopping on social media, instead of getting good quality sleep. And this song of her singing this song, and the original song, the chorus is down, and it doesn't have a huge vocal range. Kelly does what Kelly does, and she is a phenomenal singer who can sing in anything,
It's
and
true.
she flips up the octave. It's glorious, and I just chills and tears, and then I proceeded to listen to it on repeat for the next 45 minutes, not going to sleep. And I sent it to you, and I sent it to Seth, my husband, and I sent it to like I was like, experience this with me. And
It's
then I had
gorgeous.
this thought where I'm like I get to experience this person who has this gorgeous talent as just one of the greatest, most versatile singers of our time.
Mm.
I get to experience this, but, like, it's just so ordinary now
Mhm.
to flip open social media and to be like, "Oh, there's a beautiful singer, and there's a beautiful singer, and that's beautiful music," and, like, now I'll just go to bed. You know, like,
Yeah.
what back in the day where it was like, you had to go out of your way to have a beautiful musical experience or even a musical experience at all, you know,
Mhm.
when we had these small little towns and the West was young, or you might hear somebody singing and playing the piano in a saloon
Mhm.
in town. Or I remember reading the Little House on the Prairie books and how Laura talked, which by the way, I would suggest to anyone read that whole series. If you want to up your gratefulness, read
Mhm.
that series and read what people went through to survive. But like in the evenings, Pa would get out his fiddle and he'd play for the family, and the girls would dance around this Spartan bare living room by candlelight, and like that's the highlight of their day is
Mhm.
Pa connecting with them through music. And it just got me thinking about how wonderful it is that we have access, but in so many ways access is the enemy of being able to be grateful, because we're so used to I'm so used to being able I can hop online and see the best singers of the best representations of any genre at any
Mhm.
time.
Mhm. And I mean, even like, so pre-internet, like shows like American Idol, uh, shows like The Voice that put singers right in front of you that are some of the best, you know, technically best singers in the world. And
Mhm.
they're judged in front of you, and you get to like judge them too. And then, you know, it's like this person's this and this person's that. And they're just like, you just see all this amazing talent and then like minute judgments and whatever. Whereas pre-TV, you had to purposely go to a place to listen to a concert and like get a record and like become a fan of that person and go find them, how, you know, like where are they playing, how we were seeking out that beauty, and now it's just in our hand and we are like, like I don't want to see it, I don't want to see it. And it's not a matter of like now we're a bunch of assholes. We just have access to so much. But I love that, just taking a second to realize how much we have in the palm of our
Oh.
hand. Like the thing that, this is kind of a dark cloud for a second, but I really noticed as a live entertainer, um, post 2020, it was very apparent that people were just in their phones listening to great singers all the time and not used to interacting with people uh, for a while, because I think people forgot how to clap
Mm.
uh, after 2020. It was like, I mean, going to a live show or singing in a live show is a lot different, in my opinion,
Mhm.
now than it was in even 2019. I think people are so used to not reacting. And not to
Mhm.
say like I'm a great singer, but just saying like,
You are a
you know,
great singer though.
there are
So there's that.
thank you. There
Yeah.
are like real human beings in front of us pouring out things that really matter to them. It took them a lot to
Mhm.
put that on the internet, and you don't have to react to it. I mean, often we don't even like something we actually like, you know, even that
Mhm.
reaction is sometimes too much for us to do, right? So it's like showing that gratefulness to the people who are making it. You have no idea how much your gratefulness to the artist matters in
Mm.
person and matters even on the internet. Like gratitude is good for us, right? Like, and upping our sense of joy. But gratitude is really good for the people who are experiencing the gratitude as well.
Mhm.
And I think all of us as creatives can relate to that. Like, if someone tells you they really liked something you did, or they clap for you, or they buy something, or they, you know, share a story about your art and what it meant to them, uh, that gratefulness doesn't stop in your own heart. It ripples out,
You
to the
mean
people
like a
around you.
conduit?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's through you
Yeah.
to something else that
Uh-huh.
creates a light somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't
So,
just stop. It keeps going, and that's the beauty of art.
mhm.
We have, I think, by nature, artists are sensitive, and we're like little satellite dishes walking around, like, picking up things that maybe, um, other people would think is too insignificant, and that's, I think, what makes us so, um able to make the things that we make and then shine them back at the world, and the world goes, "Whoa, I didn't even see it that way, but yeah." Like, and so it feels like there are things in this world that we absolutely can do. Like, it's not illegal for me to do social media. Social media in and of itself is not bad.
Mm-mm.
However, there are parts of social media and the amount that I do of social media that blunts my ability to truly be as sensitive as I would want to be.
Mm.
And that bothers me. I don't want to lose my capacity to be able to feel joy and wonder and be able to express those things. But I'm
Mhm.
realizing that just how I am responsible for my own contentment, I'm also responsible for my own sensitivity.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
so how I'm feeling like, and I've never really had this thought before, but like I have a responsibility to nurture those parts of myself. So what are the things that I'm doing that blunt my ability to be able to be sensitive and
Mm.
hence creative?
Mhm. And and even I think that sensitivity allows for gratefulness like you're saying. So it's like
Mhm.
that's yeah, man. I think so obviously social media is a big thing cuz we're very
Yeah.
overstimulated.
Mhm.
I've noticed that sometimes my tactics for dulling my anxiety
Mhm.
can make me less sensitive because I'm trying to make myself less sensitive. I will
Mm.
sometimes, I don't know if you guys do this ever, but I'll like make things dumb in my head. And I actually jokingly did that on social media with singing, but not the same. But I'll be like, "Oh, this thing that I've always wanted to do isn't that big of a deal," so that I will be less nervous about it.
Mm,
But in
mhm.
an effort to do that for myself, I also like completely am discounting everything to the point that like I don't turn it back up after. I'm like, I just leave it
Oh.
dumb.
Mhm.
Do you get what I'm saying? I know that's a weird
Totally.
thing.
It's almost like you can't shift one system without affecting another system.
And they say your brain doesn't understand sarcasm, right? So if
Mhm.
you're like turning down how much you actually care about something so that it doesn't feel as scary,
Mhm.
your brain kind of turns it down just like, okay, so we're not impressed with this. Great. Sounds
Mm.
good. We're not really like going to fully experience that joy and gratefulness. Like so that's interesting shining a light
Absolutely.
on that. Like it's just dawning on me that that probably affects how grateful I am for the opportunities later because I just kind of turned the volume down, right?
That makes total sense to me, Emily. Like that that action like that's kind of bowling me over right now.
It's an interesting thing. Like, and then using that information, the things that we're thinking about that could dull that joy and gratitude for us, then like not shaming yourself for that. Cause then I'm like, well, that's
Right.
dumb. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't be on social media so much. I'm dumb, or I shouldn't have to like do that for my anxiety. That's stupid.
Mhm.
No, like we're just noticing and being kind about those things.
Totally.
But like, what would it look like if we tried a different way to dull our anxiety feelings? What if we tried a different way of entertaining ourselves? Um, I don't know if I told you this, but I actually put a time limit on my social media apps, a daily
Mm,
time limit.
that's
And
smart.
I still sometimes I'm like, remind me in 15 minutes, mom. But I think that's helped me a lot too. It's like then when
Mm,
I do see stuff, I'm not, or I can detect quicker now, I think, when it's like an immediate, like, ugh, about something. And I'm like, why am I
mhm.
watching this? You know?
Totally. Yes.
So,
I was Marco Poloing my friend Rachel, who's been on the podcast before. Hi, Rachel. Um,
what's up, Rachel?
yeah. And I was Marco Poloing her about I've been so attached to my phone lately because we've had this big move. You can't see it, but like there's boxes all over there and like things are just not put away. And I tend to get overwhelmed by that. And so when I feel overwhelmed, I automatically pick up my phone without even realizing it and go to social media. And then 6 hours later, I'm like, why didn't I get anything done? So I've kind of been in that space and I was just really down on myself and saying, like I just don't understand, like I'm a slave. I'm enslaved by my phone. And she was like, dude, don't feel bad about it. They make it that way. Like they have
Literally.
some of the brightest minds in the world working to try and figure out how to keep you scrolling. And then so that plus your biology, like it makes absolute sense. Like it is the craziest uphill battle for
Mm-hmm.
you to say to try and limit your social media. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, yeah. Like, duh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So don't feel, y'all, dear listener, if you find it difficult to have a balanced relationship with social media, don't feel bad.
I mean, it's a business. They have to do what they have to do to make
Sure.
their money. And in order to do that, they have to addict us and exploit our desire for connection, our
Ugh,
desire for dopamine, our desire to be entertained,
yes.
in general. Like it's designed to do
Yep.
that. Um,
Yep.
and thereby our overstimulation then shushes the voice of what we have to be grateful for, because then we start comparison spiraling. We start doing all this, well, why are they making stuff and I'm not making stuff? And then, well, what am I even doing if all these places in the world exist and I haven't been to any of them? It just automatically, like, it's in our nature to do
Yes.
that to ourselves. So we didn't mean for this to be a social media thing, but it really does affect you. Like, if you're having trouble with it, you are not alone.
Yep.
It is made to make you have trouble with it, just like alcohol, caffeine, like other things that were literally made to get
Mm.
you like addicted to them.
So you're
Nicotine.
saying that one of the things that helped you was having the time limits on your phone, I
Mm-hmm.
think? My
Mm-hmm.
friend Rachel was saying that she took social media apps just totally off her phone. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean she doesn't have social media apps or she doesn't have those accounts, but she just doesn't have quick access to them on her phone, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is really smart too.
Yeah, it totally is. I was trying to do that for a while, but what I was finding was that I post every day and I'm like trying to,
Mm,
do that stuff. So I just end up downloading and then deleting and downloading and deleting. So
yeah.
it
It's tough when
wasn't
you have to do it for
working.
work.
Yeah, it wasn't working for me. I think if you don't have to do that, then
Mhm.
that is an excellent thing to do. And then say maybe you like download them once a day and delete them, or you download them a couple times a week and then you delete them. Um, but yeah, setting a time limit is super helpful. I also like reminding myself. So my therapist was like, maybe if you're noticing that you're having an issue with staying like satisfied with yourself and who you are before you, when you're on social media, before you even go to open it, which for some of us it's so automatic
Oh
because
my
we know
gosh.
exactly where it is.
I don't even think
Um,
about it.
yeah, she's like, if you have that second to think before you click, like check in with yourself and see how you feel about whether or not you think you're enough before you
Mm,
go in there. And just
mm,
like just check in real quick and ask yourself. Another thing I did was put them in a folder. So it takes me 2 clicks. I know
okay.
that that's so strange, but like this is what we're dealing with, y'all.
Yeah.
It takes me it takes me swiping through pages, and then it takes me clicking on the folder and then clicking on the app. So I have more chances to
Mhm.
like catch my, because we also have muscle memory associated with the stuff too. It takes me a little longer. So it gives me another
Yeah.
chance to think about it. Um, but yeah, our level of gratefulness um, and happiness, it makes a lot of sense that if we have access to everyone's the best of everyone's lives, the best places, sometimes the worst of everyone's lives, why wouldn't we start comparing ourselves?
Yep.
Why wouldn't we start being I I don't have that,
Yep.
you know?
So,
Um,
yeah, that's why, and especially as we get more into social media, we get more into technology, and these just become everyday parts of our lives. I think a gratefulness practice is going to become so key to maintaining our creativity and our sensitivity and our contentment. Woo!
woohoo!
So there's a book. I think his last name is Haid, Jonathan Haid. It's called The Happiness Hypothesis. And he talks about all of this stuff: gratefulness, happiness, contentment. And so, if for all y'all that want to dive deeper into this, that would be an excellent resource. I love that book. Also, there's a book called The Happiness Trap. I can't remember who it's by, but I'll put it in the show notes. Also, a great resource for people who want to deep dive.
Amazing. Okay, and much smaller thing that you can consume. There's a song I've been listening to that when I saw the title of it, I was like, okay. I am such a cynic. It's so weird.
Okay.
Okay, song. It's called "Decide to Be Happy."
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And it is by Mr. Wives, and I love that band anyway. But the premise of it is what very similar to what I feel like I'm going through often as an artist, that I'm like, I love music so much, but it also like makes me feel really bad about myself sometimes, and it's okay that right now I haven't decided to be happy yet, but sometime I'm going to be doing that, cuz I do know that this gets better, and I do know that happiness is kind of a decision that I'm going to have to make. Right
Yep.
now, there's the bridge is like, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're sad and you know it, now's your chance to dance. And sometimes I just
Mm,
dance to that part because I'm like, I feel sad. And it helps. So yeah,
that's
listen
cool.
to Decide to Be Happy by Mr. Wives.
You sent that to me the other day.
I did.
I have not
It's a
listened
good
to it. That is my
what?
bad. I'm going to listen to it today.
Okay, do it.
I'm
You
going to
guys should do it too.
decide to listen to decide to be happy. And I'm going to be
I
happy about it.
I'm glad you decided.
Yeah.
Well, listeners,
Oh,
y'all are great. Thanks for listening to our show. And
absolutely. We're
I
grateful
like
for
it's a
you.
show. We're grateful for you. We so are. And all of the times, if you're on social media, all the times that you like and comment on our stuff, it really matters. It
Mhm.
bumps us up in the world so that people can see what we're doing and hopefully glean something good from it. So
It bumps me up
um,
in my heart.
it bumps me up in my heart too. I
Man.
get little notifications and I'm like, oh, this matters. Because
Yep.
really, at the end of the day, I think most of us are trying our best to make a difference for other people around
That's
us.
right.
And so, your evidence of gratefulness for this podcast makes us feel grateful, and the ripples continue. And so, thank you so much for that. We're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, wherever you're listening now. You can listen other places too. Okay, that's you could listen to both. I'm just kidding. You can also email us at honestlydearlistener@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram, honestly dear listener. We appreciate the heck out of you.
Honestly, dear listener.
Woo!